Marika's story doesn't begin with a prophecy. It cracks open with a mistake the Golden Order prayed no one would ever notice. Look closely at her timeline, and something impossible surfaces. The goddess who built the world was secretly bending its laws long before she shattered the Elden Ring. She hid death. She rewrote the rules in silence, and every time the Greater Will resisted, she pushed harder. So maybe the real question isn't why she broke the ring, but why she spent her entire reign preparing for it. Understanding Marika isn't optional. She is the hinge every war, dynasty, and demigod tragedy turns on. None of it feels accidental. If she truly rewrote life and death, then she didn't just change the world. She changed what it meant to exist within it. Godfrey's exile, Radagon's contradictions, Miquella's innocence, Malenia's suffering, all of it casts a shadow shaped by her choices. The Shattering wasn't chaos. It was the inevitable consequence of a woman who believed the system was broken and was willing to break the world to prove it. But before we descend deeper into the fractures of her story, the Golden Order grows through faith, and this little archive of ours is still but a flicker beneath the Erdtree. If you'd help me reach 1,000 tarnished sworn to this path before the year fades, I'd be truly blessed. One click strengthens the order, and trust me, I'll be grateful enough to rival even Marika's devotion. To understand her rebellion, we have to understand her rule. Marika the Eternal is the chosen vessel of the Elden Ring, the physical expression of a cosmic power called the Greater Will. When she becomes the ruling goddess of the lands between, she reshapes an entire civilization around a single idea, the Golden Order, an age of radiant immortality, but also strict control. She is born as a Numen, a rare people from beyond the lands between, outsiders with long lifespans, often associated with strong willpower and an uncanny resistance to the influence of the Greater Will. Her first consort, Godfrey, becomes the first Elden Lord, the spearhead of Marika's expansion. Later, she pairs with Radagon, a figure whose connection to her is so strange it becomes one of the game's biggest riddles. Together, they produce the demigods whose great runes spark the conflicts after the Shattering. These are the basics, the official story, the clean version. But the moment you look closer, Marika's reign stops looking like a divine golden age and starts looking like a woman quietly rearranging the rules of reality. If we follow the official timeline, the version carved into statues and repeated in Golden Order sermons, Marika's rise looks almost inevitable. She appears in the lands between as a Numen, a people from outside this world, chosen by the Greater Will to become its divine vessel. When the Elden Ring manifests within her, she becomes more than a ruler. She becomes the law. With Godfrey at her side, Marika expands her influence across the continent. The trolls are subdued. The fire giants are defeated and bound to their solitary flame. The beast of death, Malekith, becomes her shadow, her sworn protector, sealing Destined Death at her command. Under her guidance, the Erdtree doesn't just grow. It dominates the landscape, a monument to a new cosmic order. This is the era the Golden Order looks back on with reverence. Marika the Eternal, the unchallenged architect of stability, divinity, and victory. Even her transition from Godfrey to Radagon is framed as harmonious. The liturgy of the Order presents it as a natural evolution of fate. Radagon serves as champion of the Golden Order, then returns to the capital to become Marika's second consort. Together, they produce the next generation of demigods, heirs to a seemingly unbreakable faith. On the surface, it all fits: a chosen goddess, a perfect order, and a world bound together by the Erdtree's golden light. But this is only the official version, polished, holy, and incomplete. Because even in the most loyal retellings, there are cracks. And Marika herself is the one holding the hammer. When we peel back the gold leaf version of Marika's reign, a very different pattern starts to emerge. One defined not by divine certainty, but by controlled subversion. The first fracture appears with Destined Death. Officially, the Golden Order says Marika removed it to create an age of immortality, but that explanation feels too tidy. Removing death doesn't stabilize a world, it freezes it. It arrests consequence. It traps an entire civilization in a kind of cosmic stasis. That's not protection, it's control. And the clearest hint comes from one of the game's most overlooked texts, the Black Blade description, which states that Marika's sole intent was the sealing away of Destined Death. If sealing death was truly her sole intent, then she wasn't building perfection. She and skastaba and mastini. and Martustastas was creating leverage. Then there's Radagon, Harkim Astastor, her consort, her opposite, her reflection, and ultimately her other self. The existence of a single being who is simultaneously the most devout servant of the Golden Order, and the woman questioning its foundations suggests something profound. Marika wasn't conflicted. She was divided, literally. A dual existence built to study the system from within and break it from above. Even her children reflect this intentional instability. Rani rejects the greater will entirely. Michaela tries to rewrite it. Millennia's very body deteriorates under a curse the Order cannot cure. These aren't random tragedies. They're symptoms of a family living downstream from a goddess who stopped believing the system she upheld. So by the time Marika shatters the Elden Ring, it's no sudden act of rage. It's the finishing move of a decades-long quiet rebellion. There's one detail hidden in plain sight, a tiny visual decision almost everyone overlooks, that quietly exposes Marika's entire plan. When you fight Radagon in the final arena, his model carries hairline fractures across his body. They're faint, almost invisible under the golden light, but they match something exactly. The fractures in Marika's stone form hanging behind him. Two bodies, same wounds, same breaking point. It's not symbolic. It's not artistic license. It's the game telling us that Marika didn't just shatter the Elden Ring, she shattered herself. The breaking began long before the cutscene ever showed it, and Radagon's body still carries the proof. There's another detail hidden right at the end of the game. One that almost no one questions because it feels too small to matter. But once you notice it, it changes how you think about Marika entirely. When the Elden Beast emerges, it doesn't appear from the Erdtree, or from the air, or even from the Elden Ring itself. It comes out of Marika's chest, not symbolically. Literally, the camera angle hides it, but frees the frames and you can see the golden light erupt from the cracked stone of her torso before the beast pulls itself free. The supposed vassal of the greater will is the container, the womb, for the cosmic being enforcing that will. And here's the unsettling part. If the Elden Beast lived inside her, then Marika wasn't just serving the greater will, she was carrying it. Which means when she shattered the Elden Ring, she wasn't breaking a law. She was breaking a prison. If those fractures on Radagon and Marika are identical, then there's a question we're not supposed to ask. A question the Golden Order never accounted for. When did Marika actually break? Not the ring, her. Because if the cracks were already spreading through Radagon's body, it means the shattering didn't begin in the final cutscene. It began much earlier, quietly, internally, while the world believed its goddess was unshakable. And here's the part that pulls the rug out from under the entire official timeline. If Marika was already splintering, then shattering the Elden Ring wasn't a sudden betrayal. It was the end of a process she'd been hiding for years. When you line up every contradiction in Marika's story, the removal of Destined Death, the dual existence with Radagon, the quiet spread of fractures, the children shaped by a system she was already abandoning, her final act stops looking like God-slaying madness. It starts looking like intent. Marika wasn't trying to destroy the world. She was trying to break the contract the world was built on, the deal between the greater will and mortal existence, a deal that demanded obedience, stasis, and a definition of order that left no room for human choice. And she knew she couldn't do it cleanly. You can't rewrite life and death without unmaking the system that governs them. That's why she divided herself. That's why she built a family capable of resisting the greater will in different ways. And that's why Radagon desperately tried to repair the Elden Ring, even as she shattered it, because her rebellion required a counterpart who believed the lie. In the end, Marika wasn't a goddess who failed. She was a woman who chose to be remembered as a heretic, rather than leave her world chained to a power that never cared for it. The shattering wasn't the catastrophe. The catastrophe was the age that made it necessary. When we put aside the myths and look at Marika's actions piece by piece, a simple picture emerges. She wasn't the perfect goddess the Golden Order claimed she was, nor the reckless destroyer some legends make her out to be. She was someone who saw the limits of the system she upheld and realized that preserving it would cost more than breaking it. Her choices were severe, often cruel, and carried consequences she couldn't control, but they were driven by conviction, not chaos. In the end, Marika didn't shatter the Elden Ring to watch the world fall apart. She shattered it because she believed the world deserved the chance to become something else. Marika's story leaves us with one unresolved truth. Every act of rebellion reshapes the world, but it also reshapes the rebel. And maybe that's why her legacy feels so divided. part salvation, part devastation, entirely human beneath all the divinity. So here's the question I want to leave you with. If you lived in the lands between, would you see Marika as the one who saved your future or the one who stole your past?